And when posed with the question whether or not Tropical Storm Erica had an effect on students' performance for the Grade 6 National Assessment, officials from the Ministry of Education responded that more analysis would need to be administered to determine that theory. And speaking during a press conference held on Monday, Senior Education Officer Robert Guiste made mention of the fact that a student of the Roseau Primary School topped the exam after a 2-month late start in the school's academic year. However, the slight decrease in students' performance this year as compared to 2015 could not be definitively linked to Tropical Storm Erica, Guiste informed, as he presented the analysis of this year's exam.
Well, we have not done a full analysis of that, but what we can say is that Roseau Primary School opened almost a month later than other schools because of the storm. The school, as we know, was being used as a shelter. Yeah, 2 months. 2 months, not even a month, 2 months late. And as we can see from the results, Hamish Bless was the top performer and he came from Roseau Primary School. And also, the difference in his point, he scored at least 1.5 standardized points more than the second place. So we still need more analysis done, but we can say that after 2 months opening, they still top the exams.
The exam was composed of 5 papers and covered 4 subject areas: Language Arts Paper 1, Language Arts Paper 2, which is the composition paper, Mathematics, Social Studies, and Science. And Guiste informed that schools in the Western District performed better than the other districts in every paper. And the top 10 performing schools were Pioneer Preparatory School, the Lighthouse Christian Academy, Convent Preparatory, the Berean Christian Academy, St. Martin's Primary, Ebenezer SDA, Concord Primary, Clifton Primary, and the Warner Primary School. And in the analysis presentation, the average scores for the tested subjects were as follows.
In language arts, we had a mean of 39.1 out of 60. Language arts, we had 25.36 out of 40. Mathematics, 39 out of 60. Science, 32 over 50. And social studies, 33 over 60.
Last year, an insignificant drop in the Language Arts Paper 1 was recorded. That's 39.7 to 39.1. And in Language Arts Paper 2, there was a slight increase and an increase in mathematics as well. There was, however, a slight decrease in science and an insignificant decrease in social studies.
In language, for the national assessment, we always aim for an average of 65 to 70%, a difficulty level of all the papers to fall somewhere between 65 and 70%, and that is standard for high-stakes exams. So as we can see, the results this year and last year, there was no major difference.
Statistics also illustrated that boys continue to perform poorly as compared to the girls and is recorded as follows in the 2 subject areas.
Now, when we look at the distribution of grades for mathematics, we will see for A's, in A's, the girls, 10.1% of our girls obtained A's as opposed to 7% of our boys. 24.5% of the girls obtained B's as opposed to 22% of the boys. 44% of our girls obtained C's as opposed to 37% for the boys. Now if we look at the B's and the E's, we will see that we will observe a slight change in that the numbers for the girls decrease while the numbers for the boys increase. So for the girls, we have 13% getting D's and 18.5% of the boys getting D's. E's, we have 8.4% of the girls, only 8.4% of our girls getting E's as opposed to 15.3% of our boys getting those scores.
And for language arts, It was also revealed that more girls received higher grades than the boys.
The language, the distribution of grades for language arts. We have 10.5% of our girls obtaining A's, as opposed to 4.7% of our boys obtaining the same grade. We have 27% of our girls obtaining B's, as opposed to 16% of our boys. Just about the same number obtain C's, the average scores, 49.62 for the girls, 49.45 for the boys. And again, we see numbers flipping, where we have 7.5% of our girls getting B's, and that number is double for the boys with 14.29%. In the East, we have 5% of our girls and 15.5% of our boys.
And there were no students scoring 0 or 100% on the exams, and the percentage of students scored less than 40% on each paper.